Hello and welcome to the St Kilda and Bayside Report. It is May 2024. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy Rosens.
You are indeed. And
Yes.
you know what? You've become a hairy Jeremy Rosens because you used to always have
got
a
a
very...
haircut, Gary.
No, well, you know, but your hair was always very tidy and neat. And you've kind of, I don't know if it's part of the St Kilda grunge look or whether it's just something that you're sort of more comfortable with, or you're worried you're going to lose your hair and you want to have as much of it as possible for the time being.
So I'm not worried about losing my hair.
Yeah.
In fact, it's now probably, the viewers would be pleased to know, it's growing in places other than my head,
Well, that's
which is
the problem.
nothing
Yeah.
great.
It's when you lose it on your hair.
I actually had a haircut last week, Gary, because it was actually long at the back. So I've actually trimmed it.
Yeah, well, I don't mind. I don't mind it. I'm just bringing it up.
No, you bring this up
yeah.
all the time, but
Well,
you of all
because,
people shouldn't be talking about hair.
Well, I've got plenty of it. I'm
Because
lucky.
you've got hair, you've got eyebrows that you could comb. If you lost the front of your hair, you could comb your eyebrows that way.
Still have a coverage.
That's the worst kind of comb over.
I
But
don't
Gary,
mind it.
they're not tuning in to learn
About the hair. It's not a hairy.
style
It's
and
not a hairy
aesthetics
discussion.
from us.
Definitely not. If people are tuning in to watch us on style and fashion, you're in a lot of trouble and tune out now. But
Yes.
if you want to talk about real estate or hear about real estate, we are here to talk about what's happening very much in St Kilda and the Bayside areas because we've been very, very busy. It's been, look back
Busy
on our
quarter.
we look back on our April
Yep.
and March. They were a busy couple of months, you
Yes,
know.
yes.
We had a lot of sales, some exciting
stock,
sales,
yep. A lot of bidders.
a lot of bidders around. Good clearance rate. Just last weekend we were 87% against the industry average of 61. So we are
It's funny, this
outperforming the
industry
market.
average, because I get these emails, and
clearance
there are
rates,
two major portals or three major portals in Victoria, and all three of them give out wildly inconsistent results.
Last weekend, it's funny you mentioned that, and this is very unscripted, the show, but REA
I think they know.
and Domain, couldn't be that bad and scripted. REA and Domain were both 61%.
Oh, well, there's the first.
They're two out of, and then there's View, which I don't know is quite as detailed, which had a higher rate, but nowhere near 87%. We know our rate.
Well, that's the facts,
we've
Gary, that
we've outsold
we're
the market.
selling more.
We're selling more, so you've got a better chance of success with us than you do just about across the board. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about.
We do have a number of sales to go through, Gary.
Bit of a boast for a minute.
Yes, that's okay.
We're getting
That's
into the
okay.
winter months as well. Before we go into the sales, let's just talk about the forecasting now, because there are people that watch this show that may want to sell.
That may want to know about real estate.
That may want to know about real estate. There are people now that are listing. I looked the other day at someone wants to auction in September, and I
Yes.
thought, we've got quite a bit
so
on.
early. Yeah,
Well, we've got
yeah.
quite a bit on. So, people that now think, I'll work out my spring sale in August or July, I can tell you, you may want to be starting to work it out a little bit earlier.
I think, Gary, year on year, this has always been the case, that the people that think about their sale in more detail and earlier generally make better decisions, more informed decisions, and end up getting great prices because they're actually working with an agent through that process. It's the people that, and by the way, we love it when they either list early or a day before they're ready to go. But sometimes when you're too quick, mistakes can happen. And you need to readjust on the fly.
Well, as the old saying goes, failing to plan is planning to fail.
That's
so,
fantastic,
there's no question the recipients of the best result are often those that will have a nice timeline, think it through, give us the opportunity to do our best work. So, but also we're listing for June, July.
Yep.
So get on board.
So you talked about winter. Let's talk about what
spring,
winter means for people versus spring, because winter is generally a time where there are less homes on the market.
Yeah, and many people think that is an advantage, and often it is.
I
There's
believe
less
it's
competition.
an advantage because I don't believe people wake up when it's sunny and say, I want to buy.
No.
Nor do they wake up when it's raining and say, I'm not buying.
That's true too.
So if we consider that buyer activity is fairly
Consistent,
consistent through the year, when stock levels dwindle, there's less opportunities for buyers, which means they pay a little bit more to get the house that they want. So one might say that winter is as good a time as any to go to market, Gary, unless, of course, you've got a fabulous big garden and you're relying on the spring months to make it look good. Even then, it's okay.
I do enjoy disagreeing with you, but right now I'm going to have to suffer the displeasure of agreeing with you because I think you're probably right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the sales that we've made because, there will be people saying what's happening in the market. So let's just skip through it.
Quick disclaimer and caveat, Gary, that a lot of these results, for whatever reason over the past few months, have been undisclosed.
Yes.
So we can give you a bit of a
guide,
but
bit of a
that's
clue.
about as good as we can get it. Because 1A Pullman Court Limor sold this fabulous single-level home, Gary. 3-bed, 2-bath, multiple off-street parks. We quoted this, I believe, at 1.8 to about $2 million or thereabouts. Sold well in excess of $2 million, I think is fair to say.
Yeah,
happy vendors and happy buyers.
A unique property,
Yeah,
single level, on a compact allotment, but still a spacious and generous proportion and size internally, and a number of estate agents bidding for it, which was fun, a bit of an estate agent's ball.
Oh, that would have been fun to be there.
Oh yeah, Philip definitely had some good times there. Let's move on.
Let's move on to 8 Myrtle Street. You might remember that we did the video here when we did our last video. There is a Hawaiian lady with a bikini on the backdrop of this house on the back
Shameless.
wall.
It's shameless.
Anyway, we quoted up to 1.69 and we ended up selling this for in excess of $1.7 million the day or 2 days maybe before auction. Beautiful home and a great result.
Good spot.
7 at 21 Lansdowne Road. I had the pleasure of auctioning that, and I actually had the pleasure of Daniel Peer helping a buyer bid with them.
Okay.
And I noticed that he had one button missing on his jacket, and didn't I go to town on him
I'm
at
sure.
that auction?
No mercy.
He's
No.
probably still a little bit scarred from that whole meeting, but
Yes.
that was a good result. And he ended up having the buyer on that property, sold for $940,000, 3 bidders, great townhouse, great result.
No mercy for wardrobe malfunctions at Gary Peer Associates
Absolutely
when it
not.
comes to Mr. Rosen's.
Well, when I went down to 8 at 12 of Oka Street in Elwood, there were
Yep.
no wardrobe malfunctions. There was you that was there. There was me that was doing the auction. There was Limor that was running the campaign. It was an afternoon auction. It was quite warm. It was a beautiful day. We ended up having 3 or 4 bidders, and you were standing with, could I say, an old school friend or flame?
You could, no, not flame.
No, 'cause you wouldn't be standing with
Don't
you,
start rumours that are inappropriate. No, it's an old school friend. There is a difference,
Yes.
a big difference. But yes, one of the old school friends who is in Sydney, actually lived in Sydney,
Yep.
and now lives in Byron, actually,
Oh, what a
and
life.
flew on down and said, you know what, I want that, and snapped it up at the auction.
Did she buy it?
Yeah, she did
She
buy
did
it.
buy it.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
paid
did buy it.
$775, if I'm not
She
mistaken,
did,
Gary.
and she bought something special. That's for
It's a
sure.
great apartment, good apartment
and
in
in
a
fact,
great
the
spot.
underbidder of that property, I don't know if you know, or maybe the
Underbidder?
second underbidder,
Yes.
a lovely couple. They missed out on a few other properties that we had. They missed out on one that we had with a courtyard in Linlithgow Avenue, and they bought in Ashgrove. So just following that through
They
Ashgrove,
move
Caulfield.
around these, but is
Well,
that right?
we
So
move them
buyers
around.
just don't buy in the suburb that we see them.
move them around, and they said, you know, we've had to face you 3 times and missed, and now we finally bought.
But
So
at least
good
they
luck.
got the biscuits at the auction.
They got the cookies.
5 at 7 Tennyson Street. We continue on with the Elwood Love there. Top end of the range, 3-bed, 1 bath. Great result.
Yeah.
Everybody happy.
Congratulations
Joel,
to the
no, it was
agent.
Daniel Fisher
I
that
did
sold
the
it.
auction there, and congratulations to the buyer, a lovely young lady, and who was represented by an advocate who did a great job. And
Seems to be a
helped
bit of a
secure it.
pattern here, Gary.
Yep.
When I've auctioned it, they've sold well in excess of a quote range, but when you auctioned it, it just trickles over the top.
Well, obviously, I'm a lot more accurate with my pricing, but that's okay.
Okay.
Keep going.
Yeah, you got me there.
Okay.
71 Ruskin Street, Gaz. This was
Yep.
a great one. 2.2 to 2.4. Sold the top end of the range there. Block of land. Somebody's going to build an absolute masterpiece. And that ends, sadly, our run in Elwood for this month. But we're
Yep.
on to next month where there'll be a few. 8 at 26 Midford Street in St Kilda. That sold before auction. $640,000 top end of the range. 2 at 62 Hotham Street, Gary. You've been very closely working on that one with Daniel and Limor.
Yeah.
Sold at auction.
Great looking block, that one. It's a real architectural masterpiece. It was built, I think it may be in the could be the 50s or 60s, but really iconic building. Was sold as a building to a developer who has done an incredible job.
Beautiful.
A number of them have sold, and of course this one's sold at auction. The price range was in the 8s. We can't tell you exactly what the figure sold for, but we've got 2 more coming up there, so
Which
don't
we'll
miss
talk
out.
about in a moment's time.
Okay.
So stay tuned. 15 Sidwell Avenue. Didn't quite happen at auction.
No.
But it didn't take long to
Took
sell
a bit
that.
longer. No, great home in a wonderful location, beautiful parcel of land, a really magnificent family home, and bought by a family who live quite a bit further out and wanted to move in. So
do.
congratulations to them, people coming from all areas to be in St Kilda, East Elwood, etc.
Elwood, we're back. Oh no, we're not, I did say we were done with Elwood, but
Yep.
it turns out we're not, because we sold, Matthew Morley and I sold a fabulous block of beautiful older style apartments, 1 through 4 at 49A Tennyson Street.
Yes.
Again, a block that didn't fire at auction, but sold literally days later, and sold a little bit over $2 million.
Well, I don't know if the other block was discussed. You know, that's the one in Dickens Street.
We didn't, because
which
we
was
may
also
have,
sold.
we may have talked
around
about
that
it
time.
last time, but even if we didn't, we can talk about it, because
Yeah.
that was a beautiful block of 4
Yeah.
older style.
Sold around the same
Similar
time.
price,
Yeah.
that
Similar
was
price, a little bit more.
higher
Yeah,
price,
a little bit
yes.
higher.
7 Shirley Grove to
blocks of apartments still selling.
We've still got some to talk about as well.
Yes, good.
Not a block of apartment, but a beautiful period home in Shirley Grove, Gary. We sold that after auction for $1.2 million. 2 bedrooms, older style, nice property.
Very good.
Went well.
Very good.
That rounds out the sales for the month of April.
What was the other auction I did that was in the sunshine?
Whatever it was, it probably just trickled over the top end of the
Well,
range.
it was your listing, so I'm not sure. But it was in Evelyn Street or King Street or Queen Street, one of those streets down there. It's actually Daniel Fisher's listing.
Yes, it wasn't mine.
Anyway, I'm just babbling on now.
You're now showing your age again there, Gary, where you're just kind of trailing along with words that are coming out of your mouth. They're not overly coherent.
I think my carer's coming back to get me shortly. Shall we move on to some new listings? Because we've got some cracking new listings.
Gary.
We talked about apartments. We've sold a couple of blocks
Gary.
4 apartments, and we've got one other in what I consider to be one of the most appealing streets in the heart of St Kilda, in Eildon Road.
This is at the top of Eildon Road, the Paris end of Eildon Road, Gary, 2.7 to 2.97. There is 4 apartments here, all of different shapes and sizes. Going to auction on the 11th of May at 1:30. Matthew Morley is the selling agent. I've got the lucky honour of conducting that auction, so we're hoping that's going to be a good one in the next little while.
Around the corner from there, of course, is Burnett Street, just on the other side of Grey Street.
This is a beautiful example of older style real estate.
Older style, magnificent.
This is typical St Kilda stuff. This
Iconic
is
St Kilda.
A house-sized period sanctuary,
Yes.
Gary. Nikki, Janover and Jessica are selling this one, 1275 to 14. Auction 12th of May, 10:30. I'm looking forward to bringing that to the market. Apartment number 2, it should go well.
A very different style of property is that situated at 5 Balaclava Road. A very imposing and majestic and imposing, stylish, timeless classic. Tell us a little bit about this one.
Well, Gary, it's got 4 big bedrooms. It's got 2.5 fabulous bathrooms, off-street parking for not 1, not 2, not even 3, Gary, but 4 opportunities to get your car off the street and inside the fence line of this beautiful home. This one's going to the market on the 19th of May, 2:30 p.m. I think Philip may have auction honours there.
I think he does. Jeremy, back to blocks of apartments.
Yes.
We've got one in Celeste Court, which is a very, very quiet little cul-de-sac.
Little enclave, Gary.
Little enclave it is, near that Tirai Avenue Park, which not many people know about.
No one knows about that.
No, it's one of the hidden secrets.
I just lived around the corner from
there,
Gary, in my youth.
Yes, and property prices went through the
when
roof
I left.
ever since you moved out. Tell us about this block of 1-bedroom apartments.
Well, this is a block of 12 one-bedroom apartments, as you say, in the cul-de-sac. This is right in the edge of the cul-de-sac. It's got a very nice kind of 1960s, 50s feel to it. This should go well, Gary, because there's 8 car spaces, 12 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, good floor plans.
And a lot of courtyards with the ground floor ones as well, which is quite exciting.
30th of May, Gary, 2:30. Philip's going to do that on a Thursday afternoon.
He is. Just try to stop him. You can't. He's there. We talked about 62 Hotham Street. We do have 2 apartments coming up, apartments numbers 1 and 9. Check out number 9. It's an incredible apartment.
Some rooftop.
Massive rooftop. You feel like you're in New York or Europe somewhere.
Are we talking 360-degree views?
Fabulous views, a great rooftop, incredible summer living, and just outside entertaining upstairs there.
Doesn't get any better, Gary.
And we'll bring down the curtain in Meredith Street, this great property at 7B Meredith Street, Elwood, around the corner from that fantastic cafe on the corner. Is it Joe's Cafe?
Jerry's.
I got it wrong.
Jerry, which is what somebody used to call me because they couldn't do the J-E-R-E. They just said Jerry because they were.
And some people call Gary Jerry as well. So we've both been Jerry in our own way, haven't we?
They do.
Tell us about this.
7B Meredith is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, off-street parking for a couple of cars there. This is a kind of a European sort of Spanish mission vibe in the middle of Meredith Street in the heart of Elwood. This is going to be superb. 1.4 to 1.5. Not sure who's doing the auction. I think you are, and I think it's Daniel.
It is.
That he's going to be selling that one and taking it to the market. It's a ripper.
And that's in June. We've got a busy May. May is always an active month. There's no school holidays, there's no long weekends, there's no religious holidays, there's no major sporting events. It's a real estate month, May, and we're looking forward to making it all happen. And that is all that is happening on the Skilda Bayside Report for May 2024. I'm Gary Peer.
I'm Jeremy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.